This is the Ridiculously Amazing Insurance Agent podcast hosted by me, Kelly Donahue-Piro. This show is for growing agencies looking to maximize their biggest investment, their people. We mash up our 3-minute videos from the previous week, all with tips on how to be ridiculously amazing at insurance sales, retention, processes, marketing, running in an agency, and time management. If you want them daily, like us on social media as they're posted. But let's get started. Hey everyone, it's Kelly Donahue-Piro here, and we're here with our 3-minute mashup, which has us talking all about how independent agents could easily become Blockbuster. And I lose it on some of these videos. I get up on my soapbox. I have some fun because I know we need this in our lives. We need a big wake-up call in this industry of how if we're not careful, we have the likelihood of becoming Blockbuster. And guys, I turned 40 in November. I need y'all here for 25 more years. I don't want to work with the last 5 independent agents in America. I want us all to survive and thrive. So this is a message that you need to share with your team, with your leadership team, with yourself, so that you're thinking about the future, not the way things have always been, or operating out of fear because change could mean disruption. We're getting disrupted like frogs in boiling water right now, going up a degree every so many minutes, and it's causing a lot of challenges that we need to address. Let's dive into the first video. All right, this first one's on technology, and it was inspired by an agency I was at this week where they asked me to confirm and make sure to harp on the fact that everybody wears headsets. Headsets, yes. Now, there's some of you out there listening, or some of you are being forced to watch this video by your agency owner, okay? If you have not worn a headset for 30 days, you have no right to say that they don't work and you don't like them. You have not tried, okay? You are judging technology. And our judgment of technology could easily force us into Blockbuster status. We don't give anything a fair shake. We don't slow down to speed up, to learn about it, and to educate ourselves. We literally throw our hands up and say, it doesn't work. It's wrong. It does work if we work it. It may not be perfect, but neither is the problems that we're solving in agencies right now. We need to embrace technology, even basic technology, so that we have a fighting chance to not become Blockbuster. And that's what we talk about in this video. Hi everyone, it's Kelly Donahue-Piro here with another week of videos. And this week, I'm gonna tell you the 4 reasons that I believe agencies could become like Blockbuster. And the 4 reasons that I'm gonna go over this week are us embracing technology, recognizing that the consumer has changed and has different needs, working to be as convenient as possible, and locations versus back-end processing. So today we're going to talk all about technology, and oh my goodness, I might get on a soapbox here today. Guys, ladies, if you're struggling with technology, you might not be watching this video right now because that's not your jam. But here's the thing. This industry has 2 major technology challenges. And I'm going to talk about the one we can solve easily and the one that's a little harder. First, the easy one. The first easy one is we suck at embracing insurance technology. It's always such a freaking uphill battle. Agency owners go out and talk to other agency owners, or they go to a convention, or they're trying to solve problems. Technology is going to be the solution to most things, and resistance is immediately hit when the agency brings it back because it's change. And we shut our minds and we react and we don't respond, and we put up a tough force because what we're doing now must be working so well that we're now not overwhelmed and stressed out every day. It's literally the definition of insanity. It's crazy. I see people not using headsets. I see people that don't use multiple monitors still sometimes. And then I see all these great new pieces of technology that need to be integrated well. And that's a discussion for another day of how you embrace change and how you integrate these into workflows. But the frontline team can sometimes hold such a grudge over technology, and we need to knock it off. Blockbuster had the opportunity, Netflix, and turned it down because they just couldn't see the vision. If we can't see the vision, we're going to end up like Blockbuster. And a funny story, there's one Blockbuster left, and it's in Oregon. And it's actually an Airbnb because they embraced so many new things. So that's one. We need to get over our aversion to technology. And I've had many people say, you know, Kelly, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and technology is not my thing. And I say, you know what? That's like me saying I'm not going to the gym because I'm not a bikini model. We all need to embrace hitting our potential and getting stronger and better every single day. And if you do not want to do that, this may be the time that you need to retire, because technology is going to keep coming at us, and agencies cannot sacrifice that opportunity because some people don't want to get on board. This reminds me of who's running the agency. The second challenge we have with technology is that there is a whole lot of technology out in insurance that's difficult to use still. Management systems, I have a rather subpar joke saying that picking an agency management system is somewhat like picking the tallest midget. Now, that might not be totally politically correct, but some of you are laughing right now. Because the idea is that there's no such thing as a perfect one. They all have their hiccups and challenges, but they're all getting better and better every day. So until you can build your own, which is, by the way, too costly and such a distraction for your business, we have to make do with what we have. And we have to look at ways to integrate other pieces of technology to fill for any weaknesses in that technology. But we need to push people, and we need to embrace technology. Now, you might not need to be on the bleeding edge, but you should be on the leading edge of technology, because it is going to be the solution to many challenges in insurance. So that is step number one. We will become Blockbuster if we do not go ahead and embrace technology. So we have been through this pandemic thing. I'm not going to get political on what it is or what it's not, if it's in or out or over or under, who knows by the time this video is released. But the idea is we have to recognize the consumer has changed. Have your buying habits changed during COVID? Mine sure have. I don't walk into a grocery store any longer. I can't stand it. I need them delivered to my home. DoorDash is my primary source of nutrition on the road. I used to have to go out to dinner and find a place, and it was time consuming. Now I can get back to my hotel room, pop open to work, put the comfy clothes on, and wait for my sushi to arrive. Brilliant. The DMV, I no longer have to go and wait forever. I can schedule appointments. Yes, please. There have been things that we have all changed over the course of the pandemic, but agencies haven't necessarily changed what they have going on internally. We have to be there to meet the demands of the consumer that is changing. And this means keeping an open mind. Every agency needs clear personas of their dream client and what's important to them, and then match their products and services to that clientele. We can no longer serve everyone and hope for the best. That's what Blockbuster did. You can serve everyone. Anyone can get a video. You can get the romance, you can get this, you can get the greatest hits, and you go there and it's not in stock, and that's frustrating. Well, here's the great news. When we're short-staffed and we're telling clients we don't have enough people, that's frustrating. That is not meeting the needs of the new consumer. So we need to be thinking, how have our consumers changed? What's important to them? We have to stop thinking about ourselves and start thinking about them. Now, not the low-hanging fruit, not the F clients, the ones that we need to fire. And that's a whole different conversation, which I might get into next week, talking all about how to freaking fire your worst clients, because we need to be doing that too. But until then, let's watch this video so we don't become Blockbuster. So the next step here, we have on 3-minute videos. We're talking all about how I fear that insurance agencies could become Blockbuster. And so, by the way, someday people are going to be like, what's Blockbuster? I have no idea, but that's neither here nor there. One of the things that I think we have struggled with is, in agencies, we may become Blockbuster if we do not embrace the idea that the consumer is changing. So I see this all the time. We're doing things that are easy for us as opposed to what's easy for the consumer. So going to Blockbuster, while I spent most of my high school years on Friday night doing this, you had to get there. You had to wait in line. You had to hope that your video was there. You had to pay exorbitant late fees. All of these things were how you spent your weekend because you wanted to see the latest movie. Now, truth be told, as I get older, I don't even stay awake during movies anymore. So the younger me loved this whole scenario. But looking at it today, it's freaking inconvenient. And so we have to look at all of the ways that we might be inconvenient for customers, whether it's our hours, whether it's our technology, whether we have chat or not, whether we use text messaging, whether we send them a quote sheet and say, fill this out and get it back to me. All of these things add up because they're easier for us, right? And that is garbage. We are not here to serve us. We're here to serve them. Now, I say this, but I also say that there are clients that are unprofitable for the agency, and we overserve them and underserve our good customers because we may not be open to new ways of servicing people. So for agencies, you need to be thinking about the consumer. It is not about you. It's not about you individually. If you don't like text messaging, that's your challenge, not the consumers. It's the number one thing I want from an agent is to be able to text. And also, do we need to have so much mail? Can we operate in a way that is more efficient and effective based on 2021, where we just had a pandemic that's still kind of going on and lots of things accelerated during that process of embracing technology. If you don't like video proposals because you don't think that that's the way to do it, guess what? You have to try 30 of them before you're going to get an adequate response of what's really working. So stop putting your head in the sand and stop judging things before you do them. But if we lose sight of what's important to the customer, then guess what? We will lose everything and be Blockbuster at the end of the day. Hey everyone, so you're listening all about how not to become the next Blockbuster, which I hope is resonating with you. And one step in doing that is setting growth goals for your agency. I see a lot of agencies that just don't set goals because it's uncomfortable. You're not sure how to track it. What if you lose? Who's going to pay attention to it? And that's the things we all have to kind of get through and get away from, because goals are incredibly important. One, to celebrate, and two, to understand what's working and what's not working. And many agency owners never set goals, so they're not sure where to start. And that's what we have with this process pack. For $200, you can go ahead and get how to set your goals. There's a calculator that we use that says, hey, this is where you are, this is where you want to be with retention and rate increases. This is what we need to do. And then how to roll them out to your team, how to incentivize your team to embrace goals, what to expect as you push your team to be more goal oriented. But now is a great time to do this as we head towards the end of the year. What time other than now to start just getting everyone used to goals? It's right now. Let's do it. Let's not become Blockbuster, right? So check out our agency process pack, all about how to set those goals. And, we would love for you to check out our other process packs as well. Until then, go get your goals going, guys. Don't become Blockbuster. We'll see you soon. So we have been through this pandemic thing. I'm not going to get political on what it is or what it's not, if it's in or out or over or under, who knows by the time this video is released. But the idea is we have to recognize the consumer has changed. Have your buying habits changed during COVID? Mine sure have. I don't walk into a grocery store any longer. I can't stand it. I need them delivered to my home. DoorDash is my primary source of nutrition on the road. I used to have to go out to dinner and find a place, and it was time consuming. Now I can get back to my hotel room, pop open to work, put the comfy clothes on, and wait for my sushi to arrive. Brilliant. The DMV, I no longer have to go and wait forever. I can schedule appointments. Yes, please. There have been things that we have all changed over the course of the pandemic, but agencies haven't necessarily changed what they have going on internally. We have to be there to meet the demands of the consumer that is changing. And this means keeping an open mind. Every agency needs clear personas of their dream client and what's important to them, and then match their products and services to that clientele. We can no longer serve everyone and hope for the best. That's what Blockbuster did. You can serve everyone. Anyone can get a video. You can get the romance, you can get this, you can get the greatest hits, and you go there and it's not in stock, and that's frustrating. Well, here's the great news. When we're short-staffed and we're telling clients we don't have enough people, that's frustrating. That is not meeting the needs of the new consumer. So we need to be thinking, how have our consumers changed? What's important to them? And we have to stop thinking about ourselves and start thinking about them. Now, not the low-hanging fruit, not the F clients, the ones that we need to fire. And that's a whole different conversation, which I might get into next week, talking all about how to freaking fire your worst clients, because we need to be doing that too. But until then, let's watch this video so we don't become Blockbuster. So our next way that independent agents could become Blockbuster is similar to yesterday, but different in my mind, which is, are we driving convenience or not? So yesterday's was what's important to the customer. And I feel that more and more convenience trumps price, right? I order things on Amazon, not because they're the cheapest, but because it's the most convenient. I just ordered sneakers online and I think they're great quality. I can't buy them anywhere else. I got them online and my pay code comes up and it's perfect. And a clunky checkout process is no longer the case. but we don't think enough about driving convenience to clients. So driving convenience means that we can decrease the dependency on price to prove if we're worthy or not, okay? And what that means is that we should be doing renewal reviews. We should be making late payment calls, but not to frequent flyers. Those people need to be canceled. We need to go ahead and determine, like, are our office hours convenient for people? Do we have different communication strategies for working people? What is going to make buying insurance from us most convenient? And I can tell you this on the quoting side. It is not the most convenient to put people through a terrible sales process where we interrogate them because we're not thinking like a salesperson to then email them a quote. That is not convenient. That is convenient for you, and it's a crappy process because we just sent something complicated to somebody who asked us to help them. Convenience is education, it's explaining it and making a seamless, friction-free experience. And we throw up speed bumps all the time, and we don't even think about it in insurance. Not making renewal calls because we're too busy. Great, let's have everyone call in and yell at us. Emailing quotes because we think that's the way they want it and I just want it off my desk and I'll make one follow-up phone call. Inconvenient. My mother doesn't know what water sewer backup is, and you're gonna lose because she's gonna make a decision on price. We are not thinking about the outcome. We're thinking about the freaking task every day in insurance. That's what Blockbuster, it's not about late fees. It's not about, how can I have someone wait in line for 40 minutes for a freaking DVD that hopefully is there. Now, today that doesn't exist because they got beat out. And that's what's happening with taxi companies. It's happening all across the world. There could be a high likelihood that someday you don't even go to the grocery store or there's not malls. But in independent agencies, we still hold true that we're going to have all of these things because, that's the way we've always done it. We got to let that go. We cannot become Blockbuster. I turned 40 this year. I'd like to be in this for another 25 years and not work with the last 5 independent agencies on the planet. So that's my message to you guys today. Think about it. Are we really, really, really driving convenience for our customer? And convenience can mean different things for different people. Do we know that? And are we meeting them at their level? Because if we aren't, great news, go find your old Blockbuster card. We might be in that line next. Traditionally, the way to grow an agency was multiple locations, right? And we still see some of that sometimes, some places. It's getting better. But particularly in small towns, we see the location game being heavy. And I'm here to tell you that you need to start thinking about a 5-year strategy to reduce locations because it's causing chaos, it's inefficient, it's too expensive, and our fear is a disruption of an office closing. But in my experience, that fear is typically not played out. Yes, you may have a few disrupted customers, but you make up so much of it on just savings and expenses and being able to consolidate. And so if your agency has a large multiple location footprint, and that could change, by the way, if you're non-standard, I feel completely different about this argument. Okay, so just keep that in the back of your mind. But we all need to be thinking, even if you are non-standard, how can I centralize as much backroom things so I can have one team to manage and train and mentor and keep going? So our goal and our mindset has to be consolidation where possible and where beneficial. And as things change and happen, it's not about shutting location after location, but it's about thinking creatively to maximize your resources. And that's what we talk about here. All right, here's another difficult one if you are in small towns, but we need to start having this conversation. So we have a lot of agencies of multiple locations in small towns, and there is a significant fear that pulling that location means basically the town's going to hate you, you're going to get stoned, and everybody's going to leave. Okay, there is a speck of truth to the fact that there will be some disruption. But in my experience in working with 1,000 agencies, the cost associated with the extra locations, the chaos of staffing, the different bank accounts, and the so-and-so's on vacation, and we got to move here. When that all goes away, and the rent goes away, and the internet expense goes away, and you can pull everything into one location, you are winning. Winning. And so we have to look at the juice worth the squeeze. You run a business. We don't run a situation where it's like we need a location because what if little Betty needs to pay her policy? Betty's got to figure it out, okay? You cannot be like losing money on locations and adding stress to your agency. Blockbuster had all these locations, and then streaming comes along. You don't need locations. People transact mostly via the web and phone calls today. You need a voice over IP system far more than you need locations. even if you purchase them. And even if there's good people there, the idea is that you don't just go shut them all down right now. You need a plan and a process. But those people might retire. Those people might be willing to work from home. Those people might want to come to an office that has more stability. Yes, change is always scary up front, but often worth it later on. So you have to put the work in to get to the second half of this whole thing. And the most important thing I want to share with you guys is when you can consolidate, you're often overstaffed but stressed out because there's no consolidation. Everybody's working at different paces, at different things. You can't share work as easily together. A back office is the way to go. And to start that, you'd have backroom processing or backroom quoting. Think about how many agencies now have help from virtual assistants overseas. We can't think about a location and consolidation. I think over the next 5 years, every agency needs to consider a consolidation strategy to survive and thrive because staffing is worse than ever. It's so hard right now to staff and hire and train. It's the hardest I've ever seen it. So make it harder by having this fragmented process where if we can consolidate, we are in a winning situation. We don't really run the risk we're going to become Blockbuster. All right, so that is our mash up of all the videos on Blockbuster. I got a little feisty, I'm sorry, but you know what? We were looking at our YouTube statistics, and seriously, when I get feisty, the ratings go way up. So if that's the case, remember, we don't have any sponsors for the show. I just do it because I like spreading the message, and I think that there's not a lot of resources out there for frontline team members. There's a lot for producers in commercial, there's a lot for agency owners, but for the vast majority of people who are running agencies, there's not a lot of resources for them. So this is one for you. Consider our agency process packs. You can head on to agencyperformancepartners.com/shop. But if you've liked this podcast, like it, leave a comment, share it. That's how we get our views. And we hope that your agency is in line to become the next Netflix, not next